Moshe this. He says, have each one of the leaders of the tribes bring their walking stick, their staff, their tribal scepter, and place it here. Okay, fine, they did that. They didn't know what was going on. Now, these are just old walking sticks, right? Who knows how? They might be 50 years old. They might be 10 years old. It's just, you know, this symbol of their family stature.
Sure.
Overnight, Aharon, Aaron's rod, leafed out, budded, blossomed, and bore fruit. Overnight. It's like, wow. The picture of the dead stick that lives, that sprouts, is the shape of the letter Zadi, especially in the Paleo form, which is also a picture of Yeshua having been incarcerated into the tomb 3 days and 3 nights later, coming back to life and resurrecting after the 3rd day and the 3rd night. Not a day and a half like Friday night to Sunday morning, but 3 days and 3 nights. Right. He said, this is the one sign that you will get to this stiff-necked and hard-hearted generation, the sign of the prophet Jonah, who was 3 days, 3 nights in the belly of the whale. Okay. So the point is, this letter Zadi speaks of resurrection. It also speaks of fishhook. It's a picture of a fishhook. What does that mean? Well, it kind of speaks of your hope or desire, the hope set before you for you to look forward to, which is also that we are predestined to be conformed to his image. So the word Zadi in Hebrew means righteous, or the righteous one. A Zadik is a righteous one. Yeshua is the only righteous one, and he's resurrected. So the hope set before us is that we will be resurrected and become like him, taking on a new bodily form, the way he was the prototype, showing us he is the iconic archetype of the type we shall become. That's what's set before us, especially as we conform to the words that were in that Ark of the Covenant, which were the 10 Commandments, the words of his Torah. Kuf then means after this. But this letter Kuf is kind of this mushroom shape. It means the back of the head, but it actually is like the neck and the head, or that which rises up. So when Yeshua rose from the dead, 40 days later he ascended into heaven, and the Melachim, the angels who were speaking to the Talmudim, the disciples standing there, said, why do you stand up there gazing? He's going to come back, just like he said. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but the point is this letter Kuf speaks of rising up and also him coming back. So this means after this. So now we have a package, 3 packages in the Hebrew alphabet. Aleph through Yod is the plan of the Almighty Infinite Creator of heaven and earth to do this thing expressed in the first 10 letters so that we could enter his kingdom. Then the letters Kaf through Pei has to do with our regard, that we're supposed to do like this. We're supposed to do like Kaf, Lamed, teach and learn, Mem Nun, have a warm affection to the words that will bring forth the blessing of the curse, and that'll give us the stuff that we have to deal with as we do justly, love mercy, walk humbly with him, and the hope set before us to be conformed to his image. And then after this, and here's the other package, Resh Shin Tav, or the word Reshat literally in Hebrew means a net, a trap, or a snare. The letter Kuf also looks like a sickle, so it has to do with the time of harvesting and gathering up your own stuff and taking it away unto the eternal dimension. So here you have in the Hebrew alphabet. Now remind you, this Hebrew, as I said, was the original language on the face of the earth. This is not Jewish. This is not Christian. Pure. This came from before the flood. This came from the very first day that Yahweh spoke to Adam as he made him out of clay, breathed into him and said, Peru uravu, be fruitful and multiply, and he stood him up on his feet to walk the face of the earth. This was back before any politics or religion, and this was the Hebrew language that came out of Yahweh's heart. And he says right here, I will make the earth, I will make the heavens and the earth, I will put it into motion, and there's a 7-day sequence, the maps of the same pattern, the 7 festivals maps of this pattern, the Sabbath day is right in there with the letter Zion and the letter Zadi, and he says, I myself will put myself wrapped in the dust of the earth, camouflage as the man, I will come down, walk the face of the earth, I will die, I will be entombed, so that you can have access to my kingdom. He resurrects, he ascends, but he's coming back and bringing with him as the exalted one, Shin, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben Yosef, the suffering servant, was the first incarnation. The second, when he comes back, is ben David. So you got the Vav man, the Resh man, that's the word light, Vav Resh, or, it's a whole other thing. I'm kind of going fast here, but I'm just throwing the words out so that people can at least have the words in their ears.
Sure.
Resh Shin Tav, Resh, the exalted one. Yeshua coming back in his glory. Shin, it's the monogram of El Shaddai. It's teeth and fire. El Shaddai means the one who nurtures and provides, but it's also the one who destroys and ruins. He will burn this place up. Tav, accomplish the covenant just like he promised, and take us off into the by and by, the eternal realm, because this Aleph through Tav is the statement of what's the program for this earthly domain. So there is the message in the Hebrew alphabet. Also, in these 22 letters, it's the identity of the Mashiach, the Messiah. He is the aleph, the omnipotent creator, the bet, the one who manifested the material world, but also put himself into material form, to Gimel, come down to, he said, Dalet, I'm the door. And he came to show us the door of how to get back to the Father's house. Hey, he is the one who reveals. Vav, he is the link. He is the man who joins the eternal to the temporal.
No man
the
comes
Zion.
to the Father.
He is the distinctive man. No man comes to the Father except through me.
Right.
That's aleph through Zion. Chet. He is the one who is the kingdom's manifestation. He said, he is the preeminent one of the kingdom of heaven, of the kingdom of Yahweh. He is the one who came and said, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. I'm presenting you the concerns of the kingdom. My kingdom is not of this world, but this is my kingdom that I'm inviting you to, as a man gave a great feast and invited all his friends to it. So this picture of the Chet, he says, I am the shepherd of this sheepfold. The letter Chet represents this unified sheepfold. The letter Tet has to do with like a seal or an authorized signatory of the kingdom. He was the one entrusted to be the, then there's the parables of the son who came and the other vines keepers had polluted and profaned the instructions, you might say. Yod, he is one who, by his hand, he has taken responsibility. Kaf, he is the Torah made flesh. He is the Word made flesh. The Kaf is also lines, and then his back was ripped open by lines. You might be able to see that picture there in the Kaf as well. The letter Zion is also like a plowshare that rips open the earth. Like his back was ripped open by this weapon outside the fence. But Kaf is also means a gift. It's a covering. It's Moshe said, show me your glory. And Yahweh says, I'm going to put my kaf. I put kafi. I will put my kaf on you. That literally is the open hand. He put him into the cleft of the rock, passed by, and he took his hand off, and he showed him his glory. Well, this kaf represents the Torah. If you have the Torah put on you, you can then see his glory. No. If you disregard the Torah, you will not see the same type of glory that you'll see if you are enshrouded in, as it were, the Torah. Lamed, the good shepherd, to teach and learn. It's a shepherd's staff. Mem, the firstborn of many brethren. Nun, he is life. He is the eternal life. He is the one who has begotten all of us. Samek, the vine and the branches. Ayin, the judge of all the earth. Pei, the word made flesh, the one who Shekinah, the one who came here to fellowship with us. Zadi, he's the resurrected one. It says in the book of Revelation that he is the aleph and the tav. No, that doesn't make sense. What he said is, I'm the alpha and omega. That's Greek. He wouldn't have said alpha and omega. He would have said, he was speaking Hebrew, he's the aleph and the tav. The interesting thing is, there's one word in Hebrew in the entire Bible that's never translated. It's spelled aleph tav. It's pronounced et, as in et, as in extraterrestrial. I'm just making information. That movie's all about that. He is the extraterrestrial. He's the guy who came from heaven to earth as the aleph tav, the one word that's never translated. And when he says in the book of Revelation to John, he says, I am the aleph and tav, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. That's like the first letter and the last letter of the alphabet. It's like the front and back covers of a book and everything in between. Another thing for truth, in Hebrew, the word for truth is emet. It's spelled aleph mem tav, or A-M, Z, it's T, but emet. The point is, mem is like these waters. It's like pregnancy. It's like this period of gestation, like counting 50 days to Pentecost. Right. It's a period of time. It's page after page after page. So if you look at all the letters between aleph and tav, it's like these letters memming, or like going from here to there. That's the word truth is aleph mem tav. So the first letter, all the other letters, and the last letter is the word emet, which is truth. So there's a picture here that mem is like this ball of water, so you could say the beginning and end of this period of incubation. It has to do with the truth. I'm trying to show you that there's pictures in the Hebrew that you have to think about and that you can, they're almost like hieroglyphics. Nevertheless, just to proceed, the Zadi is the righteous one. So he is Pei, the Word. He is the Word made flesh. He is the Word that was given to us so that we can appropriate how we should be righteous, like the letter Zadi. He is the resurrected one. Kuf, he is the... When Moshe said, show me your glory. And he said, no man can see my face and live, but I'll show you my backside. Kuf is the back of the head. So what Moshe saw was the Kuf view, you might say. So what did he see? He saw the part that was seeable, which is Yeshua again. And then you could say, well, Resh, that's the exalted one, the one that comes when we see his face, full view. Shin, El Shaddai, the teeth, the destroyer of enemies. And Tav, he is the covenant accomplished. So in each one of these letters, you can see that Yeshua is the Messiah. But the critical link is the Kaf and Lamed, the one who teaches according to the letter Lamed. To teach and learn is kind of like the Supreme Court. The application of what? The Constitution. The lines of instruction of the Kaf are basically the Constitution of the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Yahweh, which is the Torah. So to see this is like if the Torah, the instructions of righteousness, is the constitution of the kingdom of heaven, then for us to regard them and to teach and learn them is, you might say, at the pinnacle or at the center of what all this is all about. So Yeshua came teaching us the Torah, and where the scribes and the Pharisees and the rabbis and the teachers, the preachers, the evangelists, you might say, had spun things all around to where they were told specifically in the Old Testament, do not add or subtract from any of these instructions. They did both.
Sure they did.
And Yeshua came to set the matter straight. Well, they hated him for it and wanted to kill him for it. But he came to rightly instruct us, lead us in the ways of the kingdom of heaven. Not only for the sake of getting eternal life, if we believed in him, but for the sake of gaining the blessing in the here and now as we walk the face of the earth. Because the way I read the Torah, if we regard these words, we will get the blessing. And if we disregard these words, we get the curse. So a very interesting thing, Moshe said to his people right near the end in Deuteronomy, he says, now I'm warning you, your enemies will try to deceive you. Now, deception usually has to do with words. Now, figure this out. Yahweh himself said to Israel, you must keep the Sabbath day, the seventh day. Well, that's any 7 days. No, it's not. It's the Sabbath day. Well, that's the first day, Sunday. You know, like Constantine said. No, it's not. It's the Sabbath day, the seventh day. Now, if Yahweh says to Israel, you must not work. Well, we can worship any day. That's true. But you must not work on the Sabbath day. Now there's something there. And he says in Leviticus 23, these are my festivals. You must regard these. This is a perpetual commandment, a statute, an ordinance. This is a perpetual covenant. And if you keep these words, here's the blessing. Read Leviticus 26. It'll tell you the blessing in about 15 verses and about 50 verses of the curse. Then you read Deuteronomy 28. He'll tell you the blessing, then he'll tell you the curse. Then you read Deuteronomy 30, and he'll give you, this is where I believe we are today, he'll tell you how to get the blessing back. We can read it in a few minutes if you want, but the point is this. If Yahweh says, you keep these words, justice, kindness, truth, righteousness. Gee, those are 4 hard things. Truth and mercy, justice and righteousness. And then regarding him, he said, don't bring his name to nothing. His name is his fame and his reputation, not just Yahweh, his name. And how do you bring it to nothing? By keeping the Sabbath day and the festivals. And if you're keeping the Sabbath day and festivals, and as a regard of honoring his name, you also will not be recognizing various other deities or Elohim of others. The phrase in Hebrew is Elohim Achrim, which is gods of others, or other gods. By keeping his name and his day sacred, kadosh, we won't be dealing with the gods of others, other deities from pagan, heathen cultures.
Boy, didn't he tell them about that over and over.
Now, if our enemies know how to render these words better than we do, and they're going to read the secret formula. Now, Balaam was hired by Balak. I think it's in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar. And Balak was a king of Midian, I believe it was, and he says, listen, I got it. You're a prophet, Balaam. I want you to curse these people of Israel, these 12 united tribes. And Balaam says, listen, I can only I can't curse what Yahweh has blessed.
Amen.
And if Yahweh has blessed these people, I can't curse them. I can only tell you about the blessing, and he's given them abundance. Now, Balak, I think 3 or 4 times, he tried to have Balaam, just, look, I'll give you more money. Just curse these people for me. He says, look, I cannot curse what Yahweh has blessed. But then Balaam says, look, I need some money. So tell you what,